Thank you, everyone. Good evening. So my task tonight is to explain where the Paw and Hand Project came from, why it was started. And I really can't do that without first explaining a little bit about what trauma is. So trauma is a big buzzword, and there's a lot of misconceptions. Trauma is not just bad things happening. It's not spilling coffee. For some of you, trauma may have been driving downtown and looking for parking. I'm glad you all made it. But that isn't really what trauma is. Trauma isn't even a bad or even traumatizing event. Trauma is the way an event is processed. It is a biological, it is a psychological, sociological, and spiritual response to an event. Trauma, it affects a person to their soul. It affects the way someone literally views the world. Experts in trauma say that someone who has been truly traumatized literally do not see the world the way you and I see it. So go with me for a minute in your imagination to a 10-year-old girl. We'll call her Amanda. She is living with her mom, who just got remarried. And so she has a new stepdad. We'll call him Todd. And Todd is abusive. And her mom doesn't believe Amanda. So someone who's supposed to be trustworthy, supposed to protect her, is proving to be untrustworthy. And it's very confusing for a 10-year-old. And literally in that moment, that 10-year-old girl her world is shaken. She does not know what to do. When trauma happens, the logic part of the brain literally goes offline, and you're stuck in survival mode. You are fight or flight. And when in the safety of someone's home, or supposed to be the safety of someone's home, you are in fight or flight, the other parts of the brain cannot develop. And so you learn to constantly be seeking fight or flight. Every decision is made through that lens. And so you can't trust. You don't know who to trust. And we like what's familiar. And this goes for every single person, including those who have been traumatized. Think about you always go to the same coffee shop, or how many times in a meeting has someone, or at a church service, someone has come up to you and said, "You're in my spot." We like what's familiar, and that goes the same for someone who has been through a traumatic event. And so that means when someone has been abused through their life, they're going to also gravitate towards abusive relationships later on in life. So go with me again. 10-year-old Amanda is now 18. Her mom gave her an ultimatum after her mom didn't believe her, and Amanda kept pushing, and now she's homeless on the street with her dog Max, because Max was very important. She got Max when she was 16 years old. And when she got Max, her stepdad, who used to sneak into her room at night, her stepdad, Todd, was allergic to Max, and he no longer snuck into her room. He was still physically abusive, but he no longer snuck into her room. And so that was a safety point for her. Max was literally saving her in so many ways. So she is now homeless on the street with her dog, Max. And she goes to the first person that's willing to give her a warm place to stay. And it seems safe, but it's not. And she goes through this cycle of homeless and with abusive people. Finally, she's had enough. She's ready to call for help. And she calls for help. She calls different shelters, domestic violence shelters, and they all tell her the same thing. You have to surrender your dog, Max. Who's trustworthy? These people don't seem any more trustworthy than her abusers, because this dog was the one thing that meant something to her. That is why the Paw and Hand Project exists. No one's more of a dog lover than me. Everyone could attest to that who knows me. My dogs were in my wedding. So, like, I am a dog lover. But that is not even why I decided to start this. It is because of trauma, because every human being is created in the image of God. And every human being has value and deserves to be treated with dignity and respect and deserves to be treated like a human. And that is why I started this organization, because I wanted to be that first person, I want us as an organization to be that first step in healing, that first example of what a healthy relationship looks like. To be able to sit with someone and just listen to their story, to care about what they care about, because that's what a healthy relationship is caring about what someone else cares about. In 2023, we turned away over 30 clients, 30 human beings that were seeking safety. We have done zero advertising for our services. This is a huge need in the community, and this is so important. At the end of the year, thanks to the generous donation of the Charles L. Shore Foundation, we were able to help someone, and I was able to sit with her, and I was able to pray with her, and she said, no one has ever listened to my story before. And that's why we exist. And even throughout the year, those 30 that we had to turn away and couldn't house their pets, we operate under this model that even if we can't help, we're going to listen to you, we're going to pray with you, and we will be your champion. And we had many people call us back just to give us updates, knowing that we couldn't do anything, knowing that we couldn't help, but they called us back just to say, hey, I was able to leave. It took me a while, but I was able to leave. And I'm in an apartment, I'm with a friend, whatever the story may be for them. But that is what we stand for, again, to treat every human being as someone who is created in the image of God and that they have dignity and value. That is why we do what we do. And that is why, so looking forward, we want to never have to turn anyone away. And moving forward, and within 5 years, we want to have a boarding kennel. And the big part of this is because when someone is finally ready to leave that situation, it's time. We got to move now. We don't want to it takes time to arrange even for a foster, and it takes time. We want a place right then, right there that they can go to meet with them in a safe place to house their pet, even if it's just for a day until we get them in with a foster. So that is our goal within 5 years. I'm always praying for sooner. But that is our goal, because we want, when someone's ready to leave, when someone's ready to get sober, it's time to move. So as I am finishing up now, you'll have time to bid, but thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of giving back choice to individuals who may never have had a choice. Just you being here means a lot, and it is making a difference. We're going to have some time to bid. You can scan the QR codes, and that's how you can register to bid. And then we'll take a 10-minute break, and then we'll be back at around 7 o'clock, I think it is, for the next speaker. Thank you.